Okay, quick camera check. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 3, camera 1, camera 3, camera 2, camera 4? It's working! This is really exciting. The folks at BlackMagic have updated the BlackMagic camera app for Android. The 2.0 update now brings this really cool remote camera control capability. So I'm shooting with 4 Android phones tied into my OnePlus Pad 2, and I'm hoping that the results are really good. This is literally the first time I've set it up, got all of the cameras connected, and I'm pushing record where it's syncing the record across all 4 cameras. Now for audio, I'm using my Rode Wireless Go 2, and I'm recording a backup to my computer, which you can see there. But really, I'm just gonna pull the audio off of this, and in Blackmagic's amazing DaVinci Resolve, I'll just do that audio sync based on the waveform, because I should have 4 really good audio tracks with the phones around me. I've got a Xiaomi on the 3x telephoto. I've got a OnePlus 13 coming over here. Got a OnePlus 12 backing me up over this side, and then my Pixel is just catching the feed, the OnePlus Pad camera, if you will. Once you get all of your cameras upgraded to that 2.0 update, the setup was a little tricky just to see where it lives. So you've got to go into the settings in the BlackMagic camera app, and you go down to remote cameras, and there you can tell the app, is this going to be a receiver or is this going to be a transmitter? I don't really care about the cameras on a tablet. It's just a larger surface for me to be able to see what's going on. The feed is remarkably stable. Out of all of these, I think it's the OnePlus 12 that just in the preview, I'm seeing a little glitching, I'm seeing a little lag or artifacting, but the footage should be coming out okay. Again, this isn't recording to the tablet, it's still recording on each of the phones, so you'll still need to do a bit of file management just when you're getting ready to edit. I shouldn't be surprised, because this is BlackMagic and they have this attention to detail, but all these clever little bits, like when you're setting up each of your phones to be a remote camera, you can go in and do things like set up a password, make sure no other device might accidentally connect to your BlackMagic camera app. Then you can also set up names, so you know which camera is which. You don't just have camera A, camera B, camera C. I've actually named them each of my phones. I love this preview window. Right now I'm just keeping it as a grid so I can see all 4 cameras at the same time. You can go through and select if you just want to see one camera full screen, and you can get in there and check things like critical focus. For example, the rest of these are still using some kind of autofocus, but I set the Pixel to make sure it was locked on that tablet view. And then you can still go through each individual phone and do things like control your exposure settings. Now I set this up specifically to test out a couple different phones. I'm really happy to see broad compatibility for Snapdragon chipsets. The Xiaomi that I have up as my main camera, that's the Xiaomi 14. I had issues with the Ultras. There's something about the way the Ultra controls the camera hardware where I was getting a lot of flipping back and forth between the ultra wide and the main camera view. I believe that's a hardware firmware issue, not something that's happening with the BlackMagic camera app. So stoked to see OnePlus's supported though. So one of my biggest complaints with OnePlus's camera app is how minimal it is for video. You have a film mode, but it's not a really great manual mode, and now the BlackMagic camera app can not only fulfill some of that, but I can use them as really good B cameras synced to a main camera feed. And of course, seeing Pixels supported means BlackMagic is already ahead of the curve in supporting Tensor. The one that made me really sad, where is it? It's over here on my desk. The BlackMagic 2.0 update, at the time I shot this video, is not yet available for Dimensity. So my Vivo, the Vivo was actually the phone I wanted to use for the amazing telephoto on the X200 Pro. Unfortunately, I'm still stuck at BlackMagic Camera 1.5. We don't have 2.0 here yet. Given some of the incredible camera devices that are running Dimensity chipsets, like I just recently did the camera deep dive on the Oppo Find X8 Pro, the Vivo X100 Pro, the Vivo X200 Pro, I'm hoping BlackMagic will jump on that bandwagon soon too. Just really incredible work from a company that has been ahead of the curve on supporting some of these alternative platforms, where DaVinci Resolve was available for iPads, then supporting Windows on ARM long before Adobe software even gave us emulated support for ARM chipsets. That kind of stuff matters to me a lot. We should be supporting those companies that are actually leading. If you're gonna call yourself a market leader, you should lead the market. I can't tell you how excited I am for these kinds of updates. This is a free camera app that comes in with so much polish. It is such a pretty representation of camera controls and now advanced functionality. This is the kind of stuff like when you see me produce a podcast or an interview when I'm out on the road, I'm usually only using phone cameras these days. The ability to pop up a phone, set up a tripod. I have a little like microphone I can just kind of snap to a suit jacket or to a shirt, and I'm off and running. Here, this gives me that little bit of extra peace of mind. I'm often going into those situations shooting totally blind. I have no idea if the camera's even rolling on the other side, unless I've got my buddy TK Bay there to check my footage and make sure that I'm not, just recording audio. It's a tightrope walk, and it's very anxiety inducing. So if you're interested in these kinds of capabilities, the cool thing is let's say you've got a family of devices. Let's say you've got a couple Samsungs or a Samsung and a Pixel. Right now, I don't believe this works cross-platform. So I don't believe you can sync an iPhone to an Android device. It has to be iOS, iPadOS in one bucket and Android in another. But if you have a couple phones, you can do fun things like for your next family get-togethers. You can set up a couple cameras, sync them all, record all in the same chunks, all at the same time, and then you'd have that footage really easily able to splice for a quick little recap, a fun little family memory. There's so much more we could be doing with our phones and our phone cameras. These are becoming really good, discrete mobile production solutions. So check out this update if you're on Android. BlackMagic Camera 2.0 update. Like I said, it's functioning very well on a Snapdragon 8 Elite, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and the newest Tensor from Google. And I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with this. And then for us Dimensity folks, hopefully we'll see that update reach us soon too. Nice and quick, just wanted to show how this works, some of my early impressions. I thank you everybody who are tuning in, those of you who are supporting the channel, sharing content across social media. But if you have the means, I hope you'll consider checking out the Patreon, patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list of names scrolling by on your screen. These are the coolest tech pals in the universe, and they're directly responsible for helping to keep the lights on here in the Gadget Lab, especially when I've got to use the big old fancy LED panels. But seriously, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart, as these videos and editorials and reviews and first impressions would literally not be possible without their support. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy, basically everywhere these days, but I'm trying to spend a bit more time on the Mastodons, a little on the blue skis, a lot less so on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the threads, and not the dumpster fire site. So I will catch you all on the next video. Maybe in multicam.